Hello, everybody, and welcome to Local Edition. I'm your host, Ben McCain. Our guest is Dr. George Mannon, Superintendent of the Torrance Unified School District. Dr. Mannon, always a pleasure having you here on Local Edition.
Thanks for having me on the show, Ben.
This is harsh. $9.4 million will be cut from the Torrance Unified School budget in 2008 and 2009.
Well, another word that's been used is draconian, and I think harsh, draconian, disaster, whatever word you would like to use. But $94.4 million is a lot of money that we are reducing for next school year.
And it's, another word, tragic for the people who are losing their jobs.
Absolutely. That totals out to about 125 people, 87 teachers, 30 support personnel, and 7.5 administrators. And some of the administrators aren't actually losing their job, but they are going to be doing half a day, something different than they're doing right now, which is working on interventions.
And this is all because of the problems that we're having in the state of California.
Correct. This is all caused by the governor's proposed budget, which, if you'll recall, back in January, his budget indicated a $14 billion hole.
And it keeps growing, because I keep hearing now 14.5 billion. Then I heard again that they're not sure how many billion.
Well, we believe it's probably at least 16 billion now, according to the Legislative Analyst's Office. That's why on March 3rd, our board took this action. These are cuts across the board in our school district. However, at that time, we made it very clear that we believe the problem is actually worsening in the state, and therefore around mid-May, when the governor issues what's called the May revise, we believe we're going to have to make additional cuts, and those cuts may be as severe as another $1 million to $1.5 million. We're not certain about that at this point, but it certainly looks like there are more cuts on the horizon.
It's sad anytime people lose their jobs because of cutbacks, but it's not only sad because of these people losing their jobs, but this will affect students directly in the classroom.
It affects directly in the classroom. In previous years, school districts around the state have tried to cut in areas not in the classroom. However, in our school district since 2000, we've already cut $18 million. So therefore, these cuts, in addition to it, we can no longer make cuts outside the classroom. What it will really do is in grades 4 and 5, it'll be an increase of about 2 students. In grades 6 through 12, we're changing the staffing ratio up to 32 students, but what that will really mean is that you'll see classes with 36, 37 students in them in grades 6 through 12.
Dr. Mannon, will people here in the South Bay or just in Southern California come to a decision, hey, look, I know I love the weather here in Southern California, but there's just such a hassle here, especially with overcrowding, and the schools just aren't up to the standards because of all these cutbacks, and they'll start leaving. Do you think that'll happen, or do you think people are going to get fed up and say, look, we've got to do something now?
I hope, and I'm very hopeful based on what's going on in our own community, that people will say enough is enough. Our public schools have suffered for many years. We're 46th in the nation in per pupil expenditures. With the governor's proposed budget, we're going to fall to 49th out of 50 states in per pupil expenditure. Enough is enough. Let's do something about it. What's happening in our community right now is that parents, community members, and students have written almost 20,000 letters that were delivered this week to various elected officials in Sacramento, including the governor, saying enough's enough. We do not want these cuts, and we need to not balance the budget in the state of California on the backs of our students in all of California. So we're doing that. The other piece is that there are several community members who have come to me who have said, let's start doing some fundraising. So unfortunately, we are in a mode, and you'll see more about this in May, where we're going to do a massive fundraising campaign in our community who really endorse and support our public schools here in Torrance.
Dr. George Mannon, Superintendent of the Torrance Unified School District, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you folks at home for watching Local Edition. I'm Ben McCain.